हो फिरत जो घर से शहे कर वो बना कह कि ये सकी मुझे गोद में ले लो बाबा शहर बच्ची का जो ये हाल परेशान देखा लोग फरमाया कि क्या हाल मेरी लगा जोड़ कर नन्हे से हाथों सकीना दिखा एक बार सोचती हूँ कि तमाचे कोई मारे ना मेरे गोशवारे कोई कानों आते हैं मेरे दिल में न जाने क्या क्या एक बार और मुझे गोद में ले लो बाबा बाबा सीने से सकीना को लगाते जाओ हाँ होगी मुलाकात बताते जाओ तुमको अकबर की कसम गूछ दहन का सदका एक बार और मुझे गोद में ले लो बाबा अब मैं फंसी हूँ न पानी की जरूरत है मुझे कोई हाजत नहीं बस इतनी सी हसरत है मुझे देख लूं फिर से जी भर के तुम्हारा चेहरा एक बार और मुझे गोद में ले लो बाबा
राय खुशनुदी इमाम ज़माना लाउड सरवा मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद नारे हैदरी नारे हैदरी फातिहा
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي نفوز فوزا عظيما.
اللهم صل
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وانفقوا في سبيل الله ولا تلقوا بأيديكم إلى التهلكة واحسنوا إن الله يحب المحسنين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Respected Muslim brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One of the most interesting and fascinating discussions regarding Ashura comes from the Aqidah standpoint. Many times when we discuss Ashura, it comes through a variety of lenses. Some people prefer to exaggerate what happened at Ashura for the sake of making you cry. Others wish to focus on a detailed historical analysis of the events that actually list the names of the Imam's companions, the order in which they died, the age at which they died. And many times the Aqidah side of Ashura is neglected, correct? Many times when it comes to Ashura, when it comes to what happened to Abu Abdullah Hussein, when we discuss it from a creed standpoint or from an Aqidah standpoint, we don't go into too much detail. Therefore, what ends up happening is when we encounter certain questions about Ashura, they can often leave us dumbfounded. One of these questions which we will be tackling tonight, inshallah, is the question of did Imam Hussein salamullahi alayhi commit suicide? Now, before we dive into it, I want to point out a few things. Number one, there are other speakers who have tackled this point. I have listened to these speakers tackle this point. I don't like to speak about something unless I can bring something to the table. Because what people are going to say, well, not the other one, I didn't do his own research, correct? Another reason why I want to cover this topic is because this is one of those topics that comes up again and again and again. Many times, many Shia brothers to me, how do you prove Imam Hussein committed suicide? Our brothers from other sects in Islam, you believe that Hussein is an Imam, you believe he is Ma'soom, you believe he has knowledge of the unseen. How do you explain him dying? All that crying and that metam and all these ceremonies that you do, you are essentially celebrating the suicide of a fallible man. Whatever. We in the school of the Ahlul Bayt, we very, very much need to do these sorts of studies, my dear brothers and sisters, not only on history, but when it comes to Aqidah. And this once again takes me back to the point that I have brought up over and over and over again these past nights. So much so that I am almost ashamed of bringing it up again. And that is the point that we need to read. We have neglected our corpus of hadith. We have neglected our corpus of aqa'id books. Our books of hadith, such as the Kaf Sharif and the Amalis of our shuyukh, these books need to be read because these questions were already asked many times by the companions of our Imams. And our Imams gave beautiful responses. Right? In many cases, you see they give multiple different responses, all of which are valid. Correct? So tonight, inshallah, I wish to dissect this issue. How do we justify Imam Hussein going to Karbala if he knew he was going to be killed at Karbala? Because some people would argue what? They say this is suicide. And suicide, as many of us know, is haram. And many of our ourselves have spoken out against it and explained the fiqh behind it. And Allah says in the Quran, do not use your own hands to throw yourself in destruction. Right? That's the verse of the Quran that we read from Surah Al-Baqarah. So why then do we see Imam Hussein made the decision that he made? Another point I want to highlight. Some people say when the Imam makes a decision, we do not question the decision of the Imam. This is true. But sometimes when we ask about the Imam's decision, it's not because we are opposing him. When the Imam makes a decision, our duty is to what? Is to listen to it. Because the Quran says, أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنكُمْ. And the Imam says our understanding of the law themselves. Therefore, we say, why did Imam Hussein do this? Why did Imam Hussein do this? The question is important. It is rather because we are seeking to understand Because the Imam, everything the Imam does is through divine wisdom, it's through wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it never contradicts of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Therefore, inshallah, let's go over the following points. Firstly, Imam al-Hussein, did he know he was going to die in Karbala? And can we prove this in our corpus? Can we prove this from other books, from other sects in Islam? Yes, we can. Secondly, Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi, if he knew, why then did he send Muslim Aqid to the Kufans? Because some people will tell you, and I've heard many people like this, these Wahhabi, so-called Salafi sheikhs, say, Imam al-Hussein was not infallible. He did not know he was going to die. The Kufans wrote letters to him, and he wanted to be the ruler, so he went to Iraq. And then he was killed, unfortunately. Right? As in, they make the whole thing seem like a little accident. The one accidentally killed the Prophet. Right? I'll give you another point. Some people narrate, they say, Imam al-Hussein, he said to Umar ibn Sa'd, he said to him, let me go back to Medina, or let me go out to the Thugur, to the frontier zones of the Muslim Empire, to do jihad fi sabilillah, or take me to Yazid, and I will give bay'ah to Yazid. Did Imam al-Hussein did this? Lastly, we want to explain, if all of these are answered, that leaves us with the question, what was Imam al-Hussein's goal? This is the issue that we always think about, isn't it? The heart and soul of Karbala, the heart and soul of the tragedy of Ashura. What exactly was it about Abdullah Hussein's objective? Because imagine if you're bringing women and children along with you, if you know your camp is going to be looted, if you know that the daughters of Rasulullah are going to be taken captive, it has to be a reason, doesn't it? It has to be a reason why. What exactly did the Imam hope to gain from all of this? Right? Let's dive into it now, shall we? The first issue, when we talk about the Imams and their knowledge, many people ask, they say, do you Shia believe your Imams have knowledge of the unseen? We say yes, absolutely. We can prove this from our books, we can prove it from the books of our brothers from other sects in Islam. A few nights ago, I reported something to you. When it came to Ali's knowledge, Amir al-Mu'mineen sallallahu alayhi's knowledge. When it comes to the knowledge of Amir al-Mu'mineen sallallahu alayhi, we have a narration, an authentic narration, in a book called Tafsir al-Razzaq. And he records with an authentic chain, 4-person chain. All individuals are reliable, as per the standards of Ahl Sunnah, back to Sayyidina Abu Tufayl. Abu Tufayl is a figure who honestly deserves a whole night unto himself, discussing his personality and his achievements. Abu Tufayl was the last surviving companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you go back to Sahih Muslim, he narrates a hadith. He died in the year 100 after Hijrah, and he says, I am the last person on earth who saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Tufayl narrates, he says, Ali was on the minbar of Kufa, and he uttered this famous phrase, Saluni, ask me. For by Allah, you cannot ask me about anything from now until Yawm al-Qiyamah, illa wahaddathtukum. Wasaluni an kitab. And you can ask me about the Quran. There is not an ayah of the Quran that I do not know whether it descended during the day or during the night, or in a valley or on a mountain. Correct? This is in his tafsir, the chapter of the tafsir of Surah DAR-E-ZEHRA. If any of you should go back and see it for yourselves. This hadith is authentic. It's narrated by a Sahabi. It's narrated from Amir al-Mu'mineen sallallahu alayhi. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, ask me about anything from now until the day of judgment, and I can answer it for you. What does this mean? He said, Amir al-Mu'mineen has the knowledge. Either he has the knowledge, or when I wish to accuse Amir al-Mu'mineen of lying. Correct? When it comes to the knowledge of our Imams, is this knowledge only restricted to Amir al-Mu'mineen? We say no. It was passed on to al-Hasan, it was passed on to al-Hussein, all the way until the Imam of our time. So now that brings up the question. Al-Hussein sallallahu alayhi, did he know that he would die in Karbala? That's what segues into this issue, doesn't it? And Hussein sallallahu alayhi, did he know he would die in Karbala? If he didn't know, then that creates problems. If he did know, that also creates problems. Let's see if he knew. This hadith is recorded in both our books as well as in the books of our brothers. You can find it in Al-Mu'jam al-Kabir by Al-Tabarani, which is one of the primary sources of hadith for our brothers of the other sects of Islam, and you'll also find it in our books. In the final moments of Karbala, or sometime during the battle, Imam al-Hussein turned to his companions. He said, "What is this land called?" So they said to him, "Ya Rasulullah, it is called the Sahara of Nainama, the desert of Nainama." Correct? He said, "What else is it called?" "It is called a Qas." "What else is it called?" "It is called Karbala." And Imam al-Hussein said, "Sadaqa Rasulullah, Ardu Karbin Wabala." He said to him, "Ya Rasulullah, this land is also called Karbala." Imam said, "Rasulullah said the truth. It is a land of Karb and a land of Bala." Question: if al-Hussein didn't know, how is he reporting a hadith from Rasulullah about it? Al-Hussein, like many other companions of Rasulullah, such as Ibn Abbas, such as his wife, Salama, such as Amir al-Mu'mineen, is recorded in the Musnad of Ahmad ibn Hanbal that when he passed by Safin, he stopped at Karbala and said, "This is the place where Abu Abdullah will be killed." Correct? Abu Abdullah, he knew this is the place he's going to die. This is a famous prophecy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is something very important. I want to highlight this really quickly. When we bring up these events, it's not just for the sake of the story, my brothers and sisters. There's a very important angle to it. One of them is called Dala'il-Nubuwah. Dala'il-Nubuwah is a subgenre of hadith literature. What does it mean? The proofs of prophethood. When Rasulullah says to Amir al-Mu'mineen, "One day you will be struck and this will be painted with this." Many of us would think, "This is musibah, this is musibah of al-Hasan sallallahu. We say, yes it is, but it is also proof for Rasulullah's nubuwah. When Rasulullah says that Hussein will be killed in Karbala, yes it is a musibah. Musibah ma'a'amah, correct? But it is also proof for Rasulullah's nubuwah. When someone denies this, you know what they're doing? You are denying one of the proofs for Rasulullah's nubuwah, correct? When Rasulullah says, "Jibreel told me my son Hussein will be killed in Karbala," this is a proof for his nubuwwah, a proof that he has access to that knowledge, a proof that he was appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Correct? Imam al-Hussein sallallahu we have very clear proof that he knew. We have very clear proof that he knew that he was going to be martyred here. Correct? This leads us to the next question. If Imam al-Hussein knew, doesn't that mean it was suicide? You say no. And there's a beautiful example from the seerah of the Prophet that proves this. Ja'far al-Tayyar, you've all heard of him, haven't you? He's the brother of Amir al-Mu'mineen sallallahu alayhi, and he is the father of Abdullah ibn Ja'far, the husband of Sayyida Zainab. Ja'far al-Tayyar, many of you know he was martyred in the Battle of Mu'tah, fighting against the Romans. During this battle, Ja'far did something, and this is recorded in Sunan al-Nasa'i, as well as other books of hadith in the Sunni school, and it is also recorded in al-Kafi. It is recorded that during the final moments of the battle, Ja'far al-Tayyar saw that the Muslims were going to lose, that they were going to be martyred. So what did he do? He got off his horse, and then he hamstrung the horse. He killed his own horse. Why would he do that? You say, "Ja'far al-Tayyar, you have cast yourself into destruction. This is suicide." You say, "No, absolutely not." The fuqaha of the Muslims, both Sunni and Shia, they take rulings from this incident. What are the rulings that they take? Some fuqaha say from this incident we have a ruling that when the Muslims are fighting fi sabilillah, they're fighting the kuffar. If they see they're going to lose, what are they allowed to do? They are allowed to kill their horses so that the kuffar don't take them and use them against the Muslims. Correct? Other scholars looked at this, they say this is the exact same mindset that Abu Abdullah Hussein had. Imam al-Hussein knew he was going to die. Correct? So what did he do? He did it in a way where he minimized the damage to the Muslim ummah. And this is the point I'll explain in a bit. Imam al-Hussein, we seek refuge in Allah from someone who claims any of our Imams of suicide. The Imam alayhi salam, when he is martyred on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every decision he makes is with the intention of lengthening his own life. When the Imam is martyred, know that this was the best possible decision he could have taken. As Imam is saying, it is very probable that if he had made any other decision, he would have died soon. I'll prove this to you in a bit, inshallah. Imam al-Hussein, we asked them, wait a minute, Tayyar knew he was going to die. I want to go over another quick misconception. Some of us have heard these. It is recorded in some of the mosques, such as in Tabari, that he said, he said, look, the Kufans tricked me. They wrote me letters, and now I see now I'm going to come out to support me. Let's Medina. Or let me go to one of the frontiers, or take me to Yazid, and I will give him bay'ah. And Umar ibn Sa'd said, no, we are going to fight here. Is this authentic? Is this reliable? No. There's a figure in the Kaaba, Abdullah ibn Hussein, his name is Uqba bin Sam'an. Uqba bin Sam'an was the servant of Sayyidah Rabah, the wife of Imam Hussein. Uqba bin Sam'an later reported, because he survived the Battle of Karbala, and his narration can be found in Al-Tabari as well as the other books of Mazin. He says, I was with Al-Hussein from Mecca to Iraq, up until the moment he was killed. Not once did I hear him say, let me go back or take me to Yazid. So where did this come from? Because according to the other madhab in Islam, if you die without a bay'ah to the ruler, you die what? Mitatan jahiliyyah. Al-Hussein, salamullah, did he give bay'ah to Yazid? No. Did he give bay'ah to any of the umara? No. So as per your condition, you are in a difficult spot. Either you say Al-Hussein died a death of jahiliyyah, or you can see that Al-Hussein was the imam, like his companions used to say. Correct? This leads me to another point. Say, wait a minute. Al-Hussein, salamullah alayhi, if he knew he was going to die, why did he send Muslims why on to these letters from Kufa? Correct? Allow me to explain this point. A few nights ago, we covered the issue of Islam in the modern sense as well as in the old sense. Many scholars, when you use the word Shia, reading a history book, you say, MashaAllah, all of Ahlul Kufa were Shia. We remind you that Shia back then means something different. And according to our scholars as well as the scholars on the other sides. Shia back then, what does it mean? It means politically, you favored the family of Ali over Ali Umayyad. Does it mean that you believe that Ali was Ma'soom? No. Does it mean that you believe Ali was the first? No. On the contrary, you find many of these Kufan Shia during the time of Imam Hussein, many of them love the first two Khalifas. Correct? Many of them, even though they did not think Uthman was better than Ali, they believed Uthman was a good ruler. Only a minority of people were absolutely devoted to the Ahlul. Therefore, when you see the people of Kufa writing letters to Imam Hussein, do not be deceived. Remember the words of Ibn Ziyad to Ahmed ibn Awad. He says, me and my father, we wiped out all the Shia in the city. There's none of you left. All these people claiming to be Shia, I'll deal with them soon enough. But the question arises, Imam Hussein, if he knew about these people and their intentions, why did he go to Iraq? It's a very interesting question, isn't it? Why did he go to Yemen? Why not Egypt? Why not Bilad al-Sham? Why not Sindh to the outskirts? Why not Azerbaijan? Why not the frontier zone? Why did he choose Iraq? To answer this question, there are two possibilities that we'll go over. One of them, we brought it up in the previous night. In Ilal al-Shara'i by Shaykh al-Saduq, he narrates with his chain to the Imam, he says, Rasulullah had passed down a document through our Imams alayhi salam. The document, the seal for Abu Abdullah, what did it say? Take your followers who want Shahada and do what? And go to this place and seek martyrdom. Allah chose this place. Why? A number of reasons why. One of the reasons may be in the future there will be a group of people who do not believe in Islam, who through the musibah of Hussein will be guided to Islam. How many of us have met people who their whole reason for converting to Islam, the thing that sparked their interest in Islam was what? Was the musibah of Abdullah Hussein. Correct? Many of us have seen such people, heard such people. Many of us maybe even descended from such people. Islam came to them through what? Through the tragedy of Karbala. Correct? That's one reason. One reason is that if Imam Hussein salamullah alayhi had not what he did, many people may never have even known of Islam. Many people would not have accepted Islam. Let me give you another reason. Imam Hussein salamullah alayhi, in being martyred in that place with his companions, what did he show us? If we do an analysis of everything Imam Hussein said and did, from the 2nd to the 10th of Muharram, you know what we find? We find so much of Islam in that few days, right? You can study the seerah of the Prophet. You can study the seerah of Sayyidah al-Zehra and Amir al-Mu'mineen and Imam al-Hasan, But Imam al-Hussein, everything he did in those few days is a lesson in and of itself. Right? Lessons, for example, value prayer. Because we know Imam al-Hussein, even in the middle of the battle, he stopped to do what? To do prayer. There are many examples of the Imam after the Sahaba, lessons lessons on Aqidah. If Imam al-Hussein had not put in that position, what would have happened? We wouldn't have any of those, correct? I'll give you another reason why. Imam al-Hussein said, you go to Iraq, you see people making prayer, you see people doing tawajjuh. Do you know how many people, what happens with their Islam, fall off? They forget they stop fasting. They lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They go far from Islam. They become Muslims only in name. They become Muslims only culturally. They don't even like to talk about Islam anymore. When you bring up Islam, what do they feel? They feel a sense of faith, a sense of misery, a sense of what could have been, a sense of, oh, how I would have done things differently. For some people, for some people, he is that wasila. For example, and you will meet people like this. There are people who will break up and say, I am one of those people. I am one of those people who lost, was on the verge of collapse. Until I heard the story of Hussein. Until Hussein reactivated that faith within me. Until Hussein, Salaamullah alayhi, brought me back. Imam al-Hussein, Salaamullah alayhi, the place he chose to make his last stand, everything about it is wisdom from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many of us today would not be in this very room if it weren't for Allah and others. Many of us would not even be in a masjid or a Husayniyah if it weren't for Allah and others. The Quran, the Sunnah, all of it wouldn't even be a part of our lives. Right? That is the wisdom of the divine, is that something as simple as a battle could affect million people's lives in the future. Correct? So the question becomes, Imam al-Hussein, why exactly did you go towards Kufa? Why exactly Kufa? Ibn Abbas, the Prophet's cousin, and a Sahabi, he witnessed this incident, and it clarifies something very important. This is narrated on the authority of his student, and it's found in the books of Abu Sunnah. He narrates that there was only one thing that Hussein said to me that convinced me to let me go. Because Ibn Abbas by that point was blind. He did not go with Abu Abbas to Karbala, and he ended up dying in Abbas. He says, and Hussein said something to me that convinced me to let him go. One thing. What was it? Ibn Abbas says, when Hussein told me I am going to Iraq, I said to him, if it were up to me, wallah, I would grab you by your hair, the hair on your head, and I will never let you go. Because I go there, you are going to get hurt. These are the same people who showed little loyalty to your father Ali, who showed little loyalty to your father Al-Hassan, and now they are calling on you. Imam Hussein, you know what he says to Ibn Abbas? This answer to Ibn Abbas is so powerful. I remember the first time I read it, I had to go back and read it a few times just to make sure I was gaining as much from it as I can. You know what he says to him? He says to him, these people will kill me whether I am up on earth or I go into the holes like the little creatures of the earth. Correct? You know those some creatures, they live underground, they burrow underground. He says to Ibn Abbas, no matter where I go, these people are going to kill me. And I will not be responsible for bloodshed in these haramain in Mecca or Medina. Therefore, I'm going to Iraq. What do we learn from this? Imam al-Hussein is telling Ibn Abbas, I will never give bay'ah to these people. And these people, they do not give any sanctity to me because I am the grandson of Rasulullah. Whether I stay in Medina or I go to Mecca. Right? And we have some narrations that say Yazid and his men, they had an order from the Sultan Khalifa, kill Hussein, even if you find him, grab him onto the sitar of the Kaaba. Right? Kill him wherever you find him if he does not give bay'ah. His very existence is problematic for us. Imam Hussein is saying, I will not be responsible for putting innocent people in harm's way. If these people want to fight me, they want me, I'll fight them. And I'll fight them in a place where no one will be injured, no innocent person will be injured unless they chose to join. Right? Imam Hussein, and the funny thing is, you know what we see in Islamic history? We see some people who were willing to use the haramain for their own political ends. Abdullah ibn Zubayr, many of you, if you read Islamic history, he stayed in Mecca. And there are Sahaba who told him, They say to him, we heard Rasulullah say there will be a man from Quraysh who tries to use the haram to defend himself. This man, if you put his sins on the mizan, they will outweigh the rest of Quraysh. And when you read Islamic history, what ended up happening to his what? Beheaded, crucified right by the Kaaba. Imam Hussein, I'm not looking for dunya. I'm not looking for power. If I'm going to be martyred, I'd rather be martyred than Karbala. Correct? Very, very important point. This brings me to the next point. Imam Hussein, when we look at his life, we say, what was his objective? His objective, one of them is obviously martyrdom. But when we look at the way he made his way towards Karbala, we see some things that stand out. One of them, and this is very, very beautiful, it is narrated that Imam Hussein addressed his followers while on his way to Al. He said to them, whoever of you has any loans or any debts on him, what should he do? He should leave. Correct? Why? Because Rasulullah ﷺ once said, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, if a Muslim, is brought before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has debts on him, what happens? Those debts are taken from his hasanat. When we look at this narration, we see, if someone is after power, you know what they do? They give anything they can give to the people around them to keep them loyal. They give them money, or they give them land, they give them property. Umar ibn Sa'd, when you look back at his biography, Umar ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, the son of a Sahabi, the son of one of the 10 promised paradise, according to our brothers and other sects of Islam. But Umar ibn Sa'd, when you read this man's biography, you see what a truly horrible and disgusting human being he was. You know why? Because the entire time he makes it so clear, I don't want to fight this man. Because I know he's the grandson of Rasulullah. Because I know the shame and the misery it will bring me. But I have to. Because if I don't, you know what happens? Hukm al-Ray will go to someone else. Al-Ray is an area in northern Iran. This man knows that this is the grandson of Rasulullah. He knows his position with Allah. He knows that he has committed no crime. But why? The dunya. Sometimes when it comes to the dunya, there are people who are willing to sacrifice their religion. And you see on the 10th of Muharram, this is narrated in Bukhari's Tarikh al-Kabir, his book of Rijal, he says Umar ibn Sa'd put his arrow in the bowstring, and he said to one of the men, bear witness to the Amir, I am the one who began the battle. I am the first person to fire that weapon. Correct? You seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from people who chase the illusion of dunya. And Umar ibn Sa'd, you know the irony of it all. Umar ibn Sa'd never got hukm right. That thing he never got it. And he did indeed get misery in this life and the hereafter. We have narrations that say the way he was killed, Umar ibn Sa'd, when al-Mukhtar came to power, al-Mukhtar was his brother-in-law. Umar ibn Sa'd. Umar ibn Sa'd, when he found out al-Mukhtar was coming for him, you know what he did? Late in the night, narrations say he got on his camel and he went out into the desert, fleeing from Kufa. Mukhtar gets the news saying, Umar ibn Sa'd has escaped. You know what Mukhtar said? He said, no, don't worry about it. Aba Abdullah bin Hussein promised him that he will in his own bed. I don't know how, I don't know why, but Allah will bring him back to us. Be patient. Umar ibn Sa'd is in the dead of the night, he falls asleep on its back, and it's lost. What does it do? It takes him right back home. The next morning, Mukhtar soldiers come to his house, they see him lying in his bed, and they kill him right then and there. Fulfilling Abdullah promised. When we see him and his followers, do you see him offering them things? If you fight with me, I will give you slaves. If you fight with me, I will give you gold. I will give you silver. You know what Abdullah offered his followers? If you fight for me, you will be successful in Akhirah. If you fight for me, you will gain the pleasure of Rasulullah. You will attain the pleasure of Allah. Remember the words of Imam Hussein saying on the 10th of Muharram, correct? What does he say? He says it's only a matter of time before we have our Hurriyeen. All that stands between us and it is these rabble who call themselves Muslims, correct? Abdullah Hussein, you will find he makes excuses for his own soldiers. He tells one of them, you're too young. He tells one of them, you've just been married. He tells the other one, you have debts, correct? Is this after dunya? Allah rewarded Abu Abdullah with something far greater than that. You know what it is? The love of the believers. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be contained, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be contained by anything. Container. What is it? The heart of a mu'min. The qalb of a mu'min. Right? This is why we have a hadith that say when you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do not mix the love of something else with Allah. Do not mix love of dunya, love of money, love of wealth, love of these illusions that will inevitably betray you, that never bring you happiness. Do not what Allah does. Allah, there are certain individuals who Allah loves them so much, loving them or loving subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first and foremost of them is our Prophet Muhammad. Who else? Sayyidah Khadija, Sayyidah Musallam, Sayyidah Zahra, Amir al-Mu'mineen and his disciples, Al-Hasan al-Mujtaba and his disciples, and who else? Al-Hussein al-Shaheed and his Ansar. Correct? Many of us, we've reached a point when we were used to cry over al-Fadl al-Abbas, but many of us now, we reach a point at Hurr ibn Yazid. Correct? Fu'ayr, Jum. Correct? We look at these individuals, we say, all I want is to attain that position you attain. The position where they offered you everything, and you said, no, I want Abu Abdullah. That's the one that I want. Correct? Abu Abdullah, you're saying, when you look back at his biography, you look back at these days in Muharram, you see they told him all you have to do is submit. Submit. You would be so be the grandson of the Prophet, everyone love and revere you. Imam is just saying, what did he choose? He chose martyrdom and Karbala. Correct? And now let me take you to Karbala. Let me give you the finest example that shows that Hussein Salamullah had his intention. Correct? When it comes to the things that people love most in this life, a few nights ago we discussed the wisdom of Sayyidina Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, where he says, I love fitna. But fitna in what sense? Your children and your wealth are fitna. Many of us today, when we think of the things that make us happy in life, many of us, we have meagers. We're not looking to be millionaires or billionaires. For us, ziyarah of Imam Hussein once a year would be more than enough, wouldn't it? A hajj would be more than enough. But the one thing that we all love is what? We love our children. Imam Zayn al-Abidin Salamullah is narrated in Kitab al-Kafi. He once asked a group of his companions, he said, which of you is willing to take a hot coal or hot embers and hold it in his fist until he puts it out? Imam al-Baqir narrates this story. He says, none of them said anything. I said, Father, I'll do it. Imam Ali ibn Hussein says, he says, I know you do it. This is addressed to them. You are from me, and I am from you. Correct? The loyalty of a son, having a son who loves you, and you love your son is something beautiful. Can you agree? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, why didn't Rasulullah have any sons who survived up to adulthood? He said, this was Al-Hasan and Hussein. These were his sons. These are the ones who used to tell Allah, I love them, or Allah, love whoever loves them. Correct? And I dissociate from anyone who harms them or who makes war with them. A man who is looking for power does not put his son on the line. It's very, very important. Many of the Sahaba were loyal to Rasulullah. This is something that you would see. When they would go into battle, they would bring their sons with them and fight alongside their own children, and many times their own children would be martyred before them. Abu Abdullah Hussein on the 10th of Muharram, when we look back, Amir al-Mu'mineen lost how many sons? Right? Sayyidah al-Bani gave up al-Abbas and his 3 brothers. Right? Sayyidah Zainab gave up her 2 sons. Someone asked, what about Abu Abdullah? Abu Abdullah, did he give any of his sons? One of his sons was ill, and that was Imam Sajjad. This was the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Imam al-Ma'soom has to survive, to succeed his father, to keep Islam alive. But which of his sons did Imam al-Hussein give up? We see Ali al-Akbar, Islam alive. Ali al-Akbar, when you look back at his biography, you see some truly fascinating things. One of them, it is narrated that once Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, you know what he said? He said, do you know who is most deserving of this matter, meaning to rule over the people? He said, you know better than us. He said, Ali al-Akbar. He said, then why? He said, because he has the bravery of Bani Hashim. He has the generosity of Bani Umayyah, and he has the cleverness of Bani Thaqif. See, Ali al-Akbar, his mother, Sayyidah Layla bint Abi Murra ibn Urwa ibn Mas'ud al-Thaqafi, right? The granddaughter of a companion of Rasulullah. From her mother's side, she was the daughter of Maymuna bint Abu Sufyan. That makes her what? The niece of Muawiyah. And many people, when they first hear this fact, it's shocking to them. But this is what the love of the Ahlul Bayt does to people. It doesn't matter who you're descended from. Allah Azza wa Jal puts love of the Ahlul Bayt in the heart of anyone he wants. Imam al-Hussein salam married this lady, and from her, his eldest son Ali al-Akbar was born. Ali al-Akbar salam, when you read his biography, some people get confused. They say, who's older, him or Imam al-Sajjad? The eldest is Ali al-Akbar. How do you know this? Abu al-Faraj al-Mu'ath he says Ali al-Akbar narrates a hadith from his grandfather Amir al-Mu'mineen and from Aisha. And he says, but I won't mention any of them. This is not the place for them. How we wish he would have mentioned them, yes? Ali al-Akbar, salamullah alayhi, when we arrive at the 10th of Muharram, a few moments stand out. One of them, Imam al-Hussein, before the battle began, he addressed the army of Yazid, correct? He addressed them in this long, powerful sermon. Inshallah, I will try to narrate it to you in the time that we have left in the upcoming nights. Imam al-Hussein addresses them. He reminds them of his relationship to Rasulullah. He reminds them of who he is. And he asks them, look at yourselves, look at what you are doing, and ask yourself if you have a right to kill me. When the women of al-Hussein in his camp heard this, you know what they did? They began to cry, and they began to raise their voices. Imam al-Hussein, salamullah alayhi, he sends al-Abbas and Ali al-Akbar to calm them down. Al-Abbas, we already discussed it. Al-Abbas, whose very presence is a source of tranquility to the women of the Ahlul Bayt. His very presence is a reminder that everything is going to be fine. But once Al-Abbas is gone, what does that mean? Correct? Once Al-Abbas is gone, that is when the suffering of the women and the children began. But what about Ali al-Akbar? Al-Abbas would remind them of his grandfather, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Ali al-Akbar would remind them of his grandfather, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After all the Ansar of Hussein alayhi salam were martyred, right? The first of Bani Hashim to be martyred is who? It's Ali al-Akbar. Say, Abu Abdullah, this is your eldest son. Every father loves his eldest son. Sometimes you will find the eldest son cannot be more different than his father. The father will still love his eldest son, correct? That's the first one that he raised. The apple of his eye, correct? The eldest son of Abu Abdullah, and he's the first of Bani Hashim to be born, correct? Ali al-Akbar salamullah came out onto the battlefield, reciting his riches. أنا علي بن الحسين بن علي نحن أهل البيت أولى بالنبي من شمر وشبث وابن الدعي. He says, I am Ali ibn Hussein ibn Ali. Me and this Ahlul Bayt are more worthy of the Prophet than Shamar and Shabath and the son of Da'i, the son of Haram. Right? Ali al-Akbar fought bravely. And we imagine how much must have heard about this son fighting. This is what Allah wants to be. When Allah wants the Imam to sacrifice something for fi sabilillah, what does the Imam? He makes that sacrifice. Correct? Ali al-Akbar salamullah alayhi, we read that when he was slain, Imam al-Hussein cried out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, Ya Allah, I complain to you of these people who had no respect for Rasulullah, who slayed the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa who had committed no sin. Correct? Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi, and this is the most heartbreaking of all the reports. It is narrated that Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi, when Ali al-Akbar was slain, what did he say? And I advise all of you to go back to the Muqatil and to read this. We see that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein with his companions, he would come up to them, he would hold them, he would put his cheek against their cheek. With Ali al-Akbar, you know what he did? He cried out, take your brother back to the tents. Correct? We say, why? Why would Imam al-Hussein do this? Imam al-Hussein did not have the strength to lift his son al-Akbar. Right? That is what some scholars said. The others said he called for help because al-Akbar had been cut to pieces. He could not be carried by one person. And the narrations tell us that when he was killed, one of the women ran out of the tents and threw herself over his body. That was his Sayyidah Salamullah alayha. Correct? Imam al-Hussein Salamullah alayhi gave up everything he had for sabilillah. And why do we do this? He sets the example for all of us. Correct? I beg all of my younger brothers as well as my sisters, when you see your father struggling, when you see the sacrifices your father makes for his family, remember the example of Abu Abdullah and his sons, correct? Be there for them as Ali al-Akbar was there for his father. Be there to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger the way Ali al-Akbar was there to serve Allah. And tomorrow, inshallah, we shall cover the other son of Imam Hussein. We shall cover the martyrdom of his infant son of Ali, that final sacrifice that the Imam himself made before he was born. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, bihaq Ali ibn Hussein, Zayn al-Abidin, wa bihaq akhihi Ali al-Faraj anna, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, bihaq Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, grant us the honor of ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussein. Right? Ya Allah, bihaq Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, grant us the honor of Hajj to your sacred house. Raise your hands in dua with me, my dear brothers and sisters. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. وأن this مجلس من سورة الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد.
Oh man, that's not even a check.
Hi, Ali Akbar. कहती थी माँ खून भरी मैया से पत्थर हाय 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 अली अकबर चढ़ाया हाय हाय अली अकबर आँखों भरी मैया से डर हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर माँ तेरी जुदाई में भला कैसे जिएगी मराएगी सुकरा जो खबर तेरी सुनेगी अब क्या करूं जी हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर कहती थी आँखों भरी मैया से पत्थर हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर पहले कोई गाज पे उठ जाते बेटा पहले कोई गाज पे उठ जाते बेटा नहीं बदला हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर कहती थी माँ खून भरी मैया से लिपट हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर तुम ही ले तोड़ रहे हो हमेशा के लिए मोड़ रहे हो हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर कहती थी माँ भरी मैया से लिपट हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर आए जो हमें लूटने खैमे से आए जो हमें लूटने खैमे से तम अली अकबर जाएगी चादर हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर कहती थी माँ भरी मैया से पत्थर हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर
شهید توی دشمن شهید این را طلب کردی و مهمانی توی دشمن ایالویا رنسانش سپار دیدن ستریسن لکی ایاشورا آشورا اینا داری آشورا دکان روزت رفتم از اون شهید داری آشورا آشورا وفا کردی آشورا 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 زمانش در مدینه ماند بابا بی عیاش بابا روزین بود پرستار و خیمه آرش نرفت از آن مبتلا کردی ایاشورا ایاشورا عجب شوی وفا کردی ایاشورا ایاشورا عجب شوی وفا کردی ایاشورا نهر القمر زدار مدینه ما در شبایی شوری وفا کردی ایاشورا 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 بود پرستارش و خیمه بود پرستارش نرفت از مرزی آتش را نسوزد تا میشیش پرستار را بنها مبتلا کردی ایاشورا ایاشورا عجب شوری کردی ایاشورا ایاشورا شوری وفا کردی ایاشورا اللهم صل Yo sing, 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 yo sing.
की शब ढलती है आशूर की शब ढलती है मौन को सहर है आशूर की शब ढलती है मौन को है आशूर की शब है मौन को सहर है आशूर की शब ढलती है मौन को सहर है आशूर तेरे पर नजर है शब ढलती है मौन को सहर है, आशूर की शब ढलती है, होने को डर है। शबीर के और दहशत से ज़ैनब की नजर है, वो सहर है, औलाद पैगंबर के पूरे रंगीन ज़मीं हो जाएगी, औलाद पैगंबर के पूरे रंगीन ज़मीं हो जाएगी। ज़ैनब हर समागर आशूर की शब ढलती है, होने को सहर है, आशूर की शब ढलती है, होने को सहर है, आशूर की शब ढलती है, होने को सहर है। Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, ओ या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा न करना, ओ या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा, ओ या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा, ओ या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा रोने पे न पहरा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो। कि जिसको नींद आती शबीर के सीने पर, कि जिसको नींद आती शबीर के सीने पर, जिंदा जिंदा या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, पावन आए रोने पे न ठहरा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा तन्हा हो, जिंदा में न तन्हा हो, या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में तन्हा हो। या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन बीमार जो लाचार
Hassan, Ya Hussein. Mawla Haq Imam, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein. Mawla Haq Imam, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein. वो मैंने वो गुलशों की चादर से जो महरूम थी और कज़ा की बेटियां मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन रो करे आसिम की मां मारा गया कासिम जवान ऐसन में मैं तेरी से तेरा हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन वो असगरे बीवी था और फरमाना का तीर था क्या सकला करकटा क्या सकला करकटा लर्ज़े ज़मीन मौला या हुसैन मौला या हुसैन शबीर की वो बारी सीने पे जो साहे परी आवाज़ में जली वो परतमा जो के निशान मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन तेरी वो लाडली शबीर की वो लाडली पे जो शाखे पली सीने जो इसकी आवाज़ में जली इसकी आवाज़ में जली ऊपर तमाम जो बेनिशान या इमाम या हसन या हुसैन वो बाबा अब्बास था वो बाबा अब्बास का दुखी की जो प्यासे चले अब्बास के पर चमते रोई रही सरदारियां अल्लाह इमाम या हसन या हुसैन अल्लाह या हुसैन इमाम या आगे पहले ना पहले अब्बास और अकबर कहा मौला हसन या हुसैन मौला इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला इमाम या हसन या हुसैन वो असगरे बेशीर था वो असगरे बेशीर था का तीर था और हुरमरा का तीर था क्या सागला क्यों करता क्या सागला क्यों करता लड़की जमीन मौला इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन
أشهد أن أبي حجة الله
اللهم صل على محمد وآل
حي على حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير الأمر حي على خير الأمر
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
اللهم صل على محمد
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
اللهم صل على محمد
أشهد أن عليا ولي الله
اللهم صل على محمد
أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين عليا حجة الله
اللهم صل على محمد
حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.